The Alabama Department of Public Health is currently offering the COVID-19.
Alright, everyone, I believe we are live now. Sorry. Just as I go live, immediately everything goes nuts and everybody has to message. Could message me all afternoon, but decide at this very second to start messaging. Anyway, hello everyone, and happy Manic Monday to you. I hope everybody is doing good and ready for this tonight. I'm gonna probably say about 500 more times, so just bear with me. Because I just got everyone to bed, and so there's still a lot of racket going on in the house. Just a heads up tonight, guys. I am no nonsense. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the disclaimer right now because I feel like I need to. This is a no nonsense channel. No drama, no nothing. I'm just going to go ahead and give everyone the heads up. I do not want any drama mentioned into the chat. I do not want anything out of the ordinary mentioned. Tonight is supposed to be for fun. Live streams and such are for fun, scariness, spooky, everything that's entertaining. No drama in the chat, no discussions about drama. If there's Twitter drama or Instagram drama or YouTube drama, it is not going to be in the chat tonight. I'll probably go ahead and boot you right off the bat without the mods even touching you. So that I want to go ahead and say that before I get started. I am not in the mood. I probably won't even ask the mods to do it. I will do it. So just heads up. Don't mean to sound witchy tonight, but that's just my mood swing for today. Just too much drama going on, and I don't need it in my life. So check it before you come in. If you're feeling drama-ish or feel like talking about drama, just head on right back out. As well as in the description below, there is a list of things that you can find me where we have fun and do fun things together, which will be right off the top of the list is PayPal. I do not have a Patreon account. but I have a PayPal account. It's there for whenever somebody decides to use it if they feel like it. After that, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all things fun and exciting. And again, guys, I don't mean to sound kind of grumpy, but I've had a lot of drama in the last couple weeks, and I do not feel like it. For you guys, I don't feel like it. I just want us to have fun and enjoy ourselves. So right off the bat, I'm gonna go ahead and and I'm not gonna, when I said like there's not gonna be any drama tonight, I honestly mean I'm not gonna ask the mods to do it. I will do it myself, because I'm actually actively watching the chat right now. So anyway, it looks like we got about 10 viewers, and that's pretty good since I really did not announce this any time ahead of time. I hope everybody's doing okay. I hope everybody's feeling good. I know Mondays are very stressful. I've had a pretty stressful Monday. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I posted on Instagram that my little Lakota is very sick. He's been sick since Saturday. We've had a couple of scares with him. This mama was scared to death. In fact, right now he's laying right by me, sound asleep. He is not feeling good. Apparently, I don't know what happened, but I scream all the time about garbage. Like, you know, you have bags of garbage, and right before they're taken out, you kind of leave them there to gather up the last bit of garbage, and nobody was paying attention. Lakota decided to jump into the garbage. Apparently, he ate something that upset his tum-tum, and it made him sick, and he is still sicky. So, I'm gonna be honest, I have not had really any sleep in 2 weeks. So that could be some of my heightened senses right now. I'm not gonna call anybody out, like that's in the chat, because I have a tendency to forget people. So if you are in the chat or if you are watching, I am so thankful you are here. You are awesome. But I don't want to leave anybody out, because I have a tendency to, accidentally leave people out, and I don't mean that. So I hope everyone's doing good. Also, I was told that sometimes I call people out and I sound more excited for other people to be in the chat than others, and that bothers people or make them mad at me. So I'm not going to say the special highs to anybody. I'm just going to say hi to everyone as a group. Oh, guys, I tell you, it's been something. I have been trying desperately to get stories together all afternoon. And, for some reason, I just have not, the site I use for stories is not working very well tonight. Like, there's a story I've been trying to click on most of the afternoon to read, and it will not bring it up. So I'm not really sure what's going on with it. I don't know. If you have any suggestions for stories tonight, just, tell me real quick that you guys want to, listen, and just kind of like send me a link in, Instagram or Twitter, and I will totally read the story. Sorry, right now I'm desperately trying to look up something so we can have some stories tonight. I really want to read some creepypastas. I'm just going to be honest. I know a lot of times I ask you guys if you want to read this, that, or the other. I really, really want to read some creepypastas tonight. Not real long ones. I'm going to read some short ones because I want everybody to feel comfortable and ready to go. See, this is just not working. There we go. PA, you're lurking. Why are you lurking? Why are you lurking in my chat? I'm just not having a real good luck with this website tonight. I may have to try to find something else. It's kind of sad. Well, while I'm looking up stories, guys, do you guys have any suggestions on creepypastas that you might want to hear tonight? Oh, PA, thank you for making me one of the 8 things. That makes me feel semi-special. Trying to think. And unfortunately, I keep picking. I may have to pick a different day to live stream, guys, because I noticed like on Mondays, so many people are busy doing other things, and I feel like I'm just kind of making you do one more thing on Mondays. So I don't know. I may have to pick like one day and just live stream them, and hopefully that doesn't interrupt other people's lives. I mean, I love live streaming on Mondays and Fridays, but it always seems like kind of like I don't know. How am I Wendigo? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if it's the lack of sleep or the fact that 90% of my household has been sick off and on for the last month. I'm just really, really drained. I guess the best way to describe it is the other day somebody sent me this meme, and it was saying, you know, you can get all the sleep you want, but if your soul's tired, I mean, sleep's not going to fix it. I guess maybe that's what it is. I need a vacation. That is what I need, guys. I need a vacation from my job. Hey, Becky, how are you? I just seen you in the chat. I need a vacation. That is what I desperately need, is a vacation. There's just been too much drama in my life the last, maybe month-ish. Well, I should say 2 years-ish, but we'll just say month-ish. I'm excited when to go. You have to link me in those, videos on Twitter, because YouTube is getting where it's terrible. They don't send notifications anymore. Let's see, even Cool Cat just said it. It's getting where YouTube just doesn't notify people about stuff, and that's really unfair, but it happens. Let's see. Yeah, there's probably people who are listening, but they're not in the chat, so I don't know. I gotta get my head screwed on tonight, guys. It's not working too well. I've got a story picked out. I've not read over any of these stories. I know, PA, you are always multitasking, but you know what? You're really good at multitasking. I've noticed that you're really good at multitasking. So I have to give you applause. Give me 1 second, because I'm gonna message somebody and tell them that we're live streaming. Leon, Leon, I'm always glad when I hear you that you're here, because I know you are super awesome. No matter what's going on, you are right there. I know. I really don't understand. They said supposedly they're supposed to get rid of the dislike button, but I still see it lurking. So this dislike button is lurking. And it doesn't really bother me. I was in I was watching somebody's video, and immediately they start, "Hey Wolf, how are you?" Immediately they start getting like a bunch of apparently like 3 dislikes for a video, and I was sitting there watching, and every time a dislike popped up, they like freaked out. And I don't know. That doesn't bother me anymore. I know it probably should, but I look at the dislike button as somebody who has a problem, and they hit it's sort of like a fight in high school. We'll like tell everybody they're mad at you, but they won't tell you to your face. And that's how I look at the dislike button, is people are just kind of mad or whatever, and they hit that dislike button. So speaking of Hotel Wendigo, it's funny. I guess I'll tell you guys this funny story. where I work, I don't know how to put this, is 90% of the clients we have where I work is out of town people. You never have anybody who is in local, usually in town, that's a client. And today, we've had this client that lives in the same town as me, and I've had to work with this client off and on. And today, this client actually asked me out on a date. I don't know how to feel about that. I've only been divorced now for what, a hot minute, and I had to actually get tickled because I've talked to this person a great deal for the last since they've been around as a client, and to point blank today, this client started asking me questions about my life, and I was trying to deter them. I figured, telling them I just went through a divorce, I have kids, just blah blah blah. And this person was just like flat out, like, we need to go on a date. Let's go on a date. And I look over at one of my coworkers after he walks away, and I said, I thought telling somebody, like telling a guy that you have kids, they would be like, oh, no, 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 and back off. But I found out real quickly today from my coworker, no, you're good. You're good. So there, apparently, I don't have a deterrent anymore to tell people to quit asking me out. So that's my funny story today. I wasn't expecting that. Because, when you're at work, you're like, I don't feel beautiful at work. So I wasn't expecting that. And then my boss got mad because she was like, oh my gosh, everybody flirts with you at work. And I'm like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. So she actually got mad at me and was like, well, did they get your number? Did you give your number out? I'm like, oh my gosh, chill. So yeah, I've had a very strange Monday. It's so Monday. It's Monday. It's almost like a Monday moody, and it put me in a moody. I'm so moody. I'm moody. So, oh guys, I also found out that Lord No Knows is apparently stalking my channel and my social media. So I don't know how to feel about that, because like I look at the numbers and I keep seeing this one number going from like 15 to 14 to 15 to 14, and I'm like, I feel like that's Lord No Knows watching to let me know that he is watching me. Insert the song, I always feel like somebody's watching me. And no, I'm not going to sing it. So don't ask. Let's see. It's not, as Outrum says, it's not Monday, it's Moo Day. I think we're going to start calling it that, a Moo Day. Congratulations, Monday, you are now Moo Day. Who's Lord No Knows? Good grief. Stop messaging me. Seriously. Nobody ever talks to me all afternoon, and then suddenly everybody starts talking at once to me. Yes, what Wendigo said, my ex. My ex is, hey, Lakota, where you go, baby? Lakota? Baby? What's wrong? You okay? Don't vomit. Okay, he just walked past me like I was invisible. Oh, that's kind of mean evil. Even though my ex is, weird. Oh, that's another thing. Apparently, Lord No Knows has, been asking questions about me. I don't know how to feel about that either. Monday is just a no day. Yes. Yes. Monday needs to be wiped off the face of the earth. Oh my gosh, night terrors. I don't know. I've been approached by several people asking me to sing, and I just don't know if I have the I don't know if I have the courage. Hey, Dakota, baby. Hi, baby. Yeah, see my poor little boy, sticky poo. And yes, I talk to my dog like that all the time. Come sit up with mammies. You want to sit up here with mammies? Yes, mammy loves you too, boy. Yes. You okay, baby? And what's even worse, he's got to fast until tomorrow. And then tomorrow I get to make him chicken and rice. Yes, some chicken and rice. Makes me think of, I don't know if you guys remember, back when we were children, they had this Nickelodeon show called Invader Zim. And they made a movie on Netflix called, let's see, was Invader Zim, the Floor Piss or whatever. And there's just like a song about nothing's better than chicken and rice. Well, don't worry. Things have worked out. We're separated and I don't know. It just is what it is. The thing is, Wendigo, he's not gonna say nothing because he doesn't have the courage to say anything. See, they just dropped a number again. Let's see. You baby boy, what is he? He's getting antsy and pacing again. You okay? You gonna be sicky poo? You gonna be sicky poo, baby boo? Come on up here, baby. You can come up here. I didn't mean you, Bear. I meant Lakota. You're not sicky poo. Get over here. I wasn't talking about you. Come on, baby. Yes, Wendigo. I do remember that episode. Gosh, I love that show, and I miss it very, very much. I miss it. I've also got the sniffles. Come on, baby. Come on. There's a good boy. I also found out from the vet today that my little boy is not going to be a little boy. He's going to be humongous. Because she said based upon his... Okay, Lakota, you can't take the microphone, baby. Okay. He just kind of took over my workspace here. Lakota, you're on my... Give me the microphone, Lakota. Hold on, guys. We're experiencing technical difficulties. There we go. My little boy decided he was going to take over my workspace. He's a good boy. He's going to join the live stream with us. Lakota, they're saying they hope you feel better soon. Yes, quit messaging me. You guys ready for Christmas? You guys realize that here, in just a few short weeks, Christmas will be here. So I hope you guys have done your Christmas shopping. Oh, Wendigo, tell your brother I say hi. You got school tomorrow, bed. Oh, I know, I'm such a terrible, terrible person. I was going to say something. Just a few short weeks, so I hope you guys have got your Christmas shopping done. Me, myself, and I have all my because three of my children have birthdays in December, right before Christmas, like literally. So I've got birthday, Christmas out of the way. I've already set up a trip to Christmas at the Falls. Let's see. I was going to take a vacation during Christmas, but my job informed me that I was not allowed to go anywhere, which is terrible. But anyway, don't you start, Bear, with your one. Don't throw up. All right, so I have this first story queued up. I really wish I could have about 2 weeks off during Christmas. I really do. Just spend time with my family and get stuff done. Oh, wow. Cat, I'm so sorry. So I've not read any of these stories. I do not know how it's going to go. So bear with me. I try to pick you guys the best stories I can. Some of these stories were sent to me. I'm starting to get people sending me stories, which I love. I love, love, love it. So, this story is entitled, Many Thanks. Again, bear with me. I have never read these stories. I don't know what to expect. I need to start proofreading better. Anyway, here we go. So, sit by the fire and let's get ready. My family had a tradition that we would all exchange one gift on Thanksgiving Day to bring good fortune for the coming holiday season. We never gave anything fancy, just candy, CDs, socks, or maybe a book. The week before Thanksgiving, we would all gather around, and our names would go into a hat, like a secret Santa, but we didn't hide it from each other. We would all reach in and pick a name. For a little more context, I'm the middle child. A girl sandwiched between, a boy sandwiched between older and younger sisters. Plus, our only remaining grandmother had just moved in with us. So all 6 of our names go into the hat, and fate decides the rest. So here is how it all goes down. My youngest sister, Ricky, went first. She got Mom. Mom picks next and gets Grandma. Grandma then picks my name. Great, I say to myself, another pair of socks. My turn to pick, and I get my older sister, Claire. She then picks Dad, which means Dad gets my younger sister. After our big ceremony, I was excited and started thinking about what to get for Claire. I wanted not only to be awesome, but like beyond awesome. You see, whenever my sister would get me a gift, it was always some amazing, thoughtful CD from a band I'd never heard of, or a book of short stories that would somehow always relate perfectly to my life. I felt like I could never give her something as thoughtful, but dang it, I was going to try. I spent the next few days trying to figure out what to get. The problem is, it seemed like she had everything. How am I going to find something that she likes? She is the deep thinking artist type. So what, like a candle? I was getting frustrated. I kept thinking I could get her a cool book, but with the amount she reads, how would I find something she hasn't already read? Then it hit me. There was an old antique bookstore in town that I have always wanted to visit, but never have. I thought, they must have some old, weird, obscure, something that she would like, right? 2 days before Thanksgiving, I decided to go down to the bookstore. I have never gone in here before because this place was always giving me the creeps. I don't know what it is about it, though. There's nothing traditionally creepy about it. It's packed into a small strip mall between a check cashing place and an adult novelty store. Maybe I was just nervous someone would see me and think I was going into the adult pursuits number 2 instead of the bookstore, but nevertheless, this was the time to go. When I entered the bookstore, I was immediately overcome with the scent of incense and old books. It felt almost welcoming. I wish I didn't. I wish there was something that told me to just turn around and leave. Welcome, an older, delicate voice came from behind the stack of books. For some reason, I wasn't expecting this and let out a sort of peep noise. Sorry to startle you, child. Are you looking for something? Or do you hope something finds you? What? I thought. Sometimes books just find where they're meant to be. It's almost like she heard me. I'm looking for something for my sister, I replied. Ah, sister. Excellent. Wander these aisles and you'll find what you are looking for, my child. My books will let you know which one is the perfect gift. And with that, she sort of just glided toward a back room where I could hear a rustling of papers about. Now, I'm in this creepy bookstore with a lady that's loving on her books way too much, and I don't leave. I mean, honestly, why would I? I start to rummage through the stack of books and the aisles of books and the mounds of books. They were everywhere. How was I going to find anything interesting? Towards the front of the store, all the books seemed to be relatively newer, nothing I would call antique. So I wondered, slowly making my way towards the back of the store. The further in I went, the older the books started to get. Not that I knew anything about the titles that I saw, but you could tell from the old broken leather of the covers that these books had some mileage on them. All of these looked cool, but what did I know about picking out something she would like? I would probably have to just as much luck picking a random and finding something that way. Right when I had thought that is when I saw it. A small leather book bound in twine. Many thanks was written on the spine. Huh. Dang, if that storekeeper wasn't right. It felt like this book found me. I pulled the book from the shelf to finally have a look at its cover. Many thanks, the personal diary of Harriet Luella. I have no idea who Harriet Luella is, or was, but I was intrigued. I began to untie the twine. Ah, an excellent choice. I peeped again. You scared me, I exclaimed. So sorry, my child, but it seems as if this book has found you. What is it? I asked. That is the diary of a young woman that grew up around here. Every year on Thanksgiving. Whoops. I dropped the microphone, sorry guys. Every year on Thanksgiving, she would write about her year and what was grateful for. Are you kidding me? This is perfect, I thought. It certainly is the perfect gift. Excuse me, I said. Can I help you find anything else? No, thanks, I replied. Then I quickly paid for the diary. There was no need to linger around. This was the gift. Like I actually found something cool that Claire would go crazy for. She loves this type of stuff. I couldn't wait to get home to have a peek at the diary myself. When I arrived home, I was ready to run up to my room and get a sneak peek of the diary before I gave it to Claire. But I was met at the door with an angry father informing me that my chores had been neglected. Get your butt to work on those chores before I get mine to work on you. Dad was terrible with threats. It was like he lost his nerve halfway through and had no idea how to finish what he had started. Regardless, I understood the threat and got to work. I was so busy, it wasn't until later that night that I finally got to take a glimpse at the diary. I promise it looked like something out of a movie. I was sitting on my bed, covers over my head, flashlight in hand. I untied the twine that bound the diary and opened the cover. November 23rd, 1684, age 8. Today, Grandmother gave me this book. She says it's called a diary. She said every year on this day I should write in it. She said I need to write what I'm thankful for because the years can be hard. I'm thankful for Mommy and Daddy. I'm thankful for Grandmother. I'm thankful for my brother Daniel and George, even when they're mean to me. She goes on to talk a lot about the year's harvest and crops and getting ready for winter, so I kind of skimmed through. Same goes for the following few entries as well. Just lots of thanks and talking about the year's harvest. I guess when you're living in colonial New England, there isn't much else to talk about. I jumped ahead when I saw something interesting. November 24th, 1689, age 13. This year has been horrible. What am I supposed to be thankful for? Father died while out hunting. My brothers have both become ill and bedridden. I spend all my days taking care of them. Mother and grandmother stay up late in the kitchen cooking up remedies to help my brothers, but nothing works, and they never let me help them. Mother says I'm too young. Grandmother says I need to wait a few more years. I hate it here. I looked at my watch and it was already 2 in the morning. How did it get so late? I didn't think I was reading the diary that long. I figured I could read one more entry before I could finally try to get some sleep. I mean, it was finally getting interesting. November 23rd, 1690, age 14. Daniel has passed, and I feel the priest is here daily for the moment of George passes, too. Mother and grandmother say I need to be strong, but it's so hard. They say sacrifices must be made if we are to continue to survive. I pray every night for relief. I pray that things will get better. Still, I'm thankful for my mother and grandmother. I'm thankful for George is still with us. I'm thankful I have survived another year. It goes on for a bit, so I decided it was time to sleep. I'll let Claire finish it and tell me about it later. It was finally Thanksgiving morning, and I was so excited to give Claire her gift. Ricky gave her gift to Mom first, a goofy-looking turkey picture made with a handprint. Mom gave Grandma her gift. Grandma got me a shirt that said Official Pumpkin Pie Tester. I think I would have preferred the socks. But now it's my turn. I grabbed the diary and I handed it to Claire. As she unwrapped the book, my heart was pumping. "Whoa!" Claire whispered in amazement. "Do you like it?" I asked. At this point, she had already unbound the twine and started reading the first page. She was transfixed with the diary. "So, do you like it?" I repeated. "This is fascinating. Yes, I love it. Where did you find something like this?" I briefly told her about the bookstore and how I spent hours sifting through stacks, aisles, mounds of books to find her this right one. Maybe I exaggerated a little bit, but she was so focused on the diary I didn't think she noticed. The rest of the gift giving went well. And now the part of the day where all just kind of waited around till the food was ready. Ricky was off playing with her new toy she had got. Mom and Dad and Grandma were in the kitchen getting our annual feast prepared, and Claire sat in the living room reading the diary. Every now and then she would say something like, "This girl is so young, and she's worried she isn't helping enough. It's so sad." Then she would get back to reading. After what felt like years, it was time to eat. We all sat around the dining room table, feast ready for consumption, when Claire spoke up. "Before we eat, I'd like to read an entry from the diary I got today." She looked at me and smiled. I think it will put a little perspective on how fortunate we really are. November 27th, 1692, age 16. Another year has passed, and life seems to get even harder. With just myself, mother, and grandmother, it's difficult to keep up with everything that needs to be done. We all work extra hard, but since there are no men around, the people whisper. Life has become so rotten in the village. We try our best to live a quiet life. It feels as if each year that goes by I have less to be thankful for. But this year, that isn't the case. I have learned so much. I'm thankful for all the sacrifices that have been made so we can remain here. I'm thankful for Mother and Grandmother. They saw that I was ready, and they have opened my eyes to wonderful new possibilities. The year has been tough, but we will persist. Our ritual keeps us safe, for now. I have seen others become victims of the accusations. I have seen what becomes of them. I keep telling myself our ritual will keep us safe for now. Through all of this, I am thankful for another year. At this point, everyone at the table had naturally lowered their heads and tried to absorb the story. Without looking away from the diary, my sister spoke. "Oh, there seems to be a little bit more." December 10th, 1692. Tonight's the night. There is no more being quiet. There is no more hiding. There is no more running. They will be coming for us. But I have prepared for this. I've read all grandmother's books. On this night, the longest night, my body will burn so my soul may live. At this very moment, I felt like the energy was sucked out of the room. Everything went quiet. I looked at Claire. She was still reading from the book, but there was no sound coming from her mouth. I frantically looked between the rest of my family. There was something wrong. They were all staring at Claire, not moving. No expression, just staring. I tried to call out to my dad, and nothing came out when I spoke. I tried screaming, and nothing. I hadn't noticed until now, but I looked around the room, and it was gone. Like everything was gone except me, and family sitting at the dining room table in the dark, empty void. The food sat on the table rotting. I felt sick. I looked back at my family, and I tried to scream again. They were still staring at Claire, but they looked like they were rotting too. That's when Claire finally looked up from the book diary and straight into my soul. Claire had the most beautiful greenish eyes I had ever saw. The eyes that looked back at me were devoid of all color. Whatever was staring back at me was not Claire. The whole time her lips were moving and no sound was coming out. I was lost and I didn't know what to do. I tried to get up and get to my parents, but I couldn't move. I tried to scream again, and still nothing. I began to feel empty, hopeless, like there was no point to try to bother anymore. Claire, or whatever it was, started laughing, a low rumble that developed into a high-pitched cackle. For whatever reason, this snapped me out of my slump, and I needed to do something. I gathered every ounce of strength, energy, and I hoped I had left to lift my chair. Everything went dark. The next thing I remember is my entire family standing over me as I laid on the floor in the dining room with a massive headache. "You all right, buddy?" Dad asked. What the heck had just happened? A moment ago I could have swore I was just watching my family's bodies being devoured by maggots, but now they look fine. And they asked me if I'm okay? I could still feel the emptiness, the hopelessness that consumed me, but it seemed to slowly fade. My dad helped me off the floor, and I got situated back into my seat. Once we were all seated again, Dad made some dumb joke about the situation, and everyone started grabbing food. I didn't have much of an appetite anymore. I suddenly thought of Claire. Was she okay? I looked over to her, and we made eye contact. I was quickly relieved when I was met by beautiful green eyes. "Thanks again for the gift," she spoke, with a smirk. At that moment, I saw a flash of darkness behind her stare. Claire never again gave me a thoughtful gift. It's as if she doesn't even know me anymore. She moved away a year later, and we only see her on holidays now. And every time I see her, I swear, her eyes are getting darker. And that is the end of the story. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts, your ratings. I am interested in what you think. I'm going to say this because I may end up doing a video on it, because that was really, really interesting. And I've not been reading the chat, guys. I'm sorry. Let's see if I can find another good one while I wait for you guys to leave your thoughts, your comments, and I'll try to read through the chat and see what I've missed. It may be too much for me to go read back because I kept seeing the chat move while I was reading, and I just I can't Lakota, your ears on my computer, baby. He's like, I don't care, mommy. Oh, hey Todd, I didn't know you were here. I'm glad you were here. I'm glad you guys liked it. I was scared to death that it wasn't going to be, I'm doing pretty good, Todd. It's been a rough, some time. But nothing that I can't handle. I'm a strong little girl. I can manage. Little Lakota's been sick and he's laying in mommy's lap right now. Him's my little baby boy. And so far I'm seeing 8s and 10s. I'm not sure, Wendy, you say 1 out of 10.50. I'm confused. Are you giving it a 1? I don't know. Minty says great story. Becky says awesome. Night Terror says I like it. Your bookkeeper was just creepy enough. I will agree. It was just creepy enough. I don't want to go into the next story too quick because I've been told I have a tendency to jump to the next story, and I don't give you guys kind of a chance to discuss the story. What are your thoughts about said story? Any I don't know. I've been getting some really weird comments on Twitter. I posted a picture on Twitter with a live stream and the link, and somebody, you ever have somebody comment on your posts and wonder if they're complimenting you or nicely being rude to you? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not even gonna address it. It's not worth it. Oh gosh, guys. Now my stomach's kind of going. Oh wow, when do you give it a 50? Dang. Thank you. I think it was a pretty good story, even though I didn't read it before I read it. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with other notifications just in case somebody decides to send me ideas for a story and I'm just not reading them. Let's see. Go to Instagram real quick. Make sure. Instagram. Got to keep up with. Whoa, that's bright. Whew, blinded by the light. My laptop decided it was hilarious to blind me. Let's see. Okay, I don't see any messages that I should read any stories. So, do little sniffles. I will offer you guys some sweet tea if you would like some sweet teas. Ooh, cat's got chocolate and water. I shall num. Alright, I'm gonna wait a few seconds and I'm gonna start reading this next story. Alright. The next story is entitled Long Time No See. It had been at least 3 years since I had last seen John. I wondered if best friend was still affable. I can't read tonight. This is not going good. Given the circumstances. Somehow semantics were the last thing on my mind. Who left a voicemail in this day and age anyway? Only John. His social and emotional inaptitude let him feel, think, and act like not a single care for what others found acceptable or in. I admired that in him. He was the opposite of me, as I was confident and outgoing. I went to parties, did the drugs, drank the shots. I had my own place way before he even considered leaving his parents' home. Yet still, in a way, he had always been far more free than me. Of course, that was back when we were in college. After we parted ways, the journey of life took different routes for each of us. Sorry about that, guys. I had some technical difficulty there for a second. I kind of lost where I was at. So I'm gonna start where I kind of think I was at before all this went down. Okay, here we go. Of course, that was back when we were in college. After we parted ways, the journey of life took us different routes for each of us. I ended up enlisting and following a boots lifestyle for a few years. John collected degrees like stamps and hopped between part-time jobs. We tried to meet up and connect for cultural events or each other's birthdays. Life inevitably takes its course, I guess. Over time, our get-togethers dwindled from once a month to once a year. For a while, not even that. By the time I was 26, I hadn't spoken with the man I loved as a brother in 2 years. We met at family's summer house for the northern coast for a pair of days. Bars, a casino, the beach, and a penthouse, all to ourselves. Still, it hadn't ended on the best of terms. 3 whole years had passed since then, and here I was, tripping over every piece of furniture in my house. I dodged the third Lego piece behind the corner of the stairwell, saving myself quite a bit of grief, and went down into the basement to get my duffel bag. At times, I had to question whether my son left these out of negligence, or if he was trying to show his old man that he could hunt big animals too. Adorable little kid. Throwing the duffel bag over my shoulder, I dialed my wife's number into my phone. Life in the Army, both during and after boot camp, tended to prepare one for pretty much anything. The habits of getting up early, making one's bed, and keeping a bag ready for sudden departures hadn't been lost on me. With the house locked, the dog fed, and the woman of my life appeared with promises of a weekend getaway, I threw a bag into a back seat and left. Unlike my 99 Asteria, life sure had a way of coming at you fast. Most like said car, though took pride in being a tough bone to chew on. After the dishonorable discharge, bouncing back wasn't the easiest thing in the world. Yet I did it nonetheless. I took a couple of swigs from my pocket flasks to steel myself against the cold and carry on. On the way, I lost myself in the roads of the memory. The teenage years I had spent with John, playing video games and geeking out with other nerds in our group of friends. The wild nights of college when I ran out of patience with the latest of my dramas and mischiefs. I remembered the nights I spent having dinner at his place. His parents still sent me a gift when my birthday came along every year. Great people, all of them, odd in their own harmless way. These had been some of the best times of my life. Sure, there were mistakes made along the way, but I, for one, never liked to dwell on the past. I found the town of sundown, and the coastline was deserted as I expected. With the rain and the cold, nobody stepped foot in it. His house was pretty isolated, a couple of miles away from the center. It was very characteristic of his family to keep the comfortable distance. As I slowly rolled into his driveway, I could see the lights were already on. I parked the car and took into a deep breath. I forced down over half of the contents of the flask, replacing the sobering chill with a vigorous burn. I stepped outside the car, shaking off the tension of my legs and back, and looked over to his porch. There he was, waving down at me with a big grin on his face. His hair was oily and black, his features rough and dramatic. He could see a hint of Eastern in his eyes. He wore the same black button-up shirt and brown chinos he'd worn 3 years before, when we made it big. I missed this with all my heart. I didn't bother waving back as I opened the back seat door. Reaching my duffel bag, I grasped around for a small box and cold steel as I pulled the Winchester M21 out and closed the door. I slid the 2 slugs into their respective barrels, glancing at the corner of the yard. The small dirt mound was still where I had left it. Where I left him. I was holding in my right hand the same gun that had blown a hole through John so cleanly that a desert plate could have easily fit through. Right through his trusting heart. Right through the shirt that thing, whatever it was wearing. I've never considered myself a man of prejudice. Certainly not leave voicemails to their former friends. Turning my attention back to John, I could see he was no longer waving at me. In fact, he was no longer smiling. Swallowing my fear, I took aim and ended it all. Well, that's the end of the story. I'm not sure how I feel about that one, guys. Hey, Kyle, you made it. I'm glad you're here. I don't know how I feel about that one. I think it could have went on for a little bit longer. So I don't know. I feel like that could have went on for just a bit more and gave you a little bit more of the story. But that's my opinion. What do you guys think? Please tell me. Yeah, I agree, Kat. I give it a 5. It was not... It didn't end. What the heck is this? This one looks interesting. I'm ready to read the next one, guys. What are you sorry for, Evil? 19 out of 32. I'm gonna have to give it a 5. I'm sorry, guys. That was just a little me. You're vibing. You have to message me later and tell me what you're vibing about. I could use a little vibing. Wendigo, you're being very, very generous on the 7. It was a good story, but it should have went on a little longer to give more. It was a little creepy. It was a little weird, but I feel like it wasn't explained enough. Like it roughly ended. Like we could have went on for another maybe 3 minutes, and really got some more closure out of it. That's why I'm giving it a 5. I'm not trying to be mean. It was good writing. It was a little hard to follow at times for me to read because of the grammar and punctuation. But I see where it could have been a better story. Maybe that's the writer in me. Sorry. Alright. I may go on to the next one, guys. Like, I found this one and it sounds really... The title... I found this one myself. So, the last one was sent to me. And the one before it was sent to me. Evil, or did you not have D&D tonight? Alright, I'm going to go into the next one. I'm hoping you guys find it interesting. The title's getting me. The story is entitled, My Pillow Has a Voice Inside of It. I know this is going to sound crazy as hell, but I think my pillow had something living inside of it. I'm aware that's the strangest thing to say, but I don't really have any other way to explain it. What I've experienced at this point. This all started a while ago on a typical school night. Nothing was really out of the ordinary, save for some extra difficult homework. I had prepared for bed, and as I lay down to sleep, I swore I could hear someone whispering in my immediate left. In response, I jumped out of bed, trying to determine who this was in my room. But almost as soon as I sat up, the whispering stopped. I turned on my light to search my room for what woke me, but I turned up nothing. Even my neighbor, who was usually obnoxious late into the night, was unusually quiet. I shrugged it off as drowsy audio hallucination and tried to sleep, but as soon as my head hit the pillow, I heard the voice again. This prompted a thorough search of the entire apartment, but again my efforts turned up nothing. For the third time I tried to sleep, and for the third time I could clearly hear the whispering, but this time I noticed something different. As I put my head back down onto the pillow, the voice grew louder. At that point, I realized that the voice wasn't just coming from the house, it was coming from my pillow. Looking back at it, I absolutely should have put the pillow in the dumpster as soon as I heard that voice coming from it. But I was curious. Some part of me wanted to know what it had to say. I've always been interested in the macabre, and it seems too interesting to just give up on. But the voice told me such awful things. It detailed stories of murder and violence beyond anything I could have imagined. It was sickening, but I just couldn't seem to break away from it. I feel ashamed to admit it, but I was enthralled by the stories. I must have spent hours listening to it speak. I think it was around 3 a.m. that I was ready to throw my pillow in the closet and call it a night. But before I lifted my head up, it told me that it had one more secret for the night. It said to me that day at school, I would see something truly horrible, something that would burn an image into my mind that I would never be able to erase. And then it went silent. I didn't get much sleep for the rest of the night. Luckily, I had class at 10 a.m., and with a mixture of coffee and an Adderall, I was able to drag myself out of bed and make my way to the lecture hall. The day started off normal. I only had 2 classes, and as I made my way out for my second class to go home, I had all but forgotten that voice said to me. Honestly, I was concerned with sleep more than anything. But as I walked towards my car, I heard a scream pierce the serenity of my small college. 2 people were fighting vigorously in the parking lot. A petite boy no taller than 5'6" was fighting for his life against a man who appeared to be closer to 6'4" and 230 pounds. The bigger man fought with a rage and desperation of someone truly determined to kill his opponent. 2 other students raced towards them and tried to subdue the large man. Still, he shook them off with ease and began bashing the smaller boy's head into the concrete and pulling at his neck as if he was trying to tear it from his shoulders. I forced myself out of shock of the moment and jumped in to help the 2 others. Together we managed to hold the large man off just enough for the group of people to subdue him and called 911. Only after the police and the ambulance arrived did I get to look at the boy's unmoving body. His skull had punctured through the skin, and it appeared as though the brain matter was among the large pool of blood collecting on the concrete. Teeth littered the ground, and his neck looked twisted in disgusting degrees. The voice was right. It was an image that I will never forget. The boy was rushed to the hospital, and from the rumors around school, he somehow survived. Whatever that's worth. I mean, what kind of life is he going to live now? He's in a vegetable state. As for the attacker, he apparently never even knew the boy. I'm not even sure he was a student. Rumors pegged the 2 as mild acquaintances at best, but I'm not sure I believe that. How could someone have that kind of hate towards someone they barely know? It just doesn't make sense in my mind. Honestly, this whole thing messed me up for a few days. I wanted answers so badly. Did the voice living in my pillow actually know the future? Or was this just a strange coincidence? As much as I wanted to believe it was a lucky guess, my gut told me it simply wasn't true. When I got home, I went for the pillow in my closet and tried to listen to the voice, but it remained silent. Thinking maybe the voice only spoke up at night, I waited until I was ready for bed, but still I heard nothing. Over the next few days, I tried to listen to it, but it didn't say a word. During this time, I was skipping class, partially for my own mental health and partially in hopes that I'd catch the voice at some point. However, it wasn't until Sunday of the following week that things picked up again. Before returning to class, I opted to head to bed early, and I finally heard it. A little caught off guard, I popped up to examine my pillow. The voice greeted me, but in its return it seemed louder. I no longer need to be lying directly on top of it to hear it. It decided to tell me horrors of what I saw in excruciating detail. I lived every moment again in my head, as somehow the voice seemed to tell the story more vividly than even my own mind could relay. It paused for a moment after finishing the gruesome tale, before asking if I wanted to know more. In hindsight, right at that moment, I should have taken it, tied it to the heaviest thing I could find, and then throw it out into the ocean. But I didn't. No, I couldn't. Again, the intense feeling of morbid curiosity hit me like a wave. It messed me up as I needed to know more. With no hesitation, I simply told it yes. That night, it told me the story about how there would be something terrible found in my next-door neighbor's apartment. Similar to the last time, it spent hours telling me about the history behind this tragedy. There would often be nights of loud noises and weird smells coming from their home. Over the years, it had got me more than a few angry knocks at the door and phone calls, but I would have called the police if I knew what was really happening. Mere minutes after I was told about what was going on, I booked a motel room. There was no way in hell I wanted to be around the chaos that was about to unfold. Lo and behold, the following day, I got about 15 text messages from friends, family, and my landlord asking about what had occurred. When I went to turn on the local news, I was met with footage of frozen and decomposing bodies being taken out of the apartment, accompanied by my neighbor in handcuffs. The old man had a dead look on his face, a tired, soulless eyes that stared through the crowd of people surrounding him. Though all the details wouldn't be made public for a while, I knew enough. At least 5 dead bodies. DNA matched that of some kids who had been gone missing throughout the area. Morbidly enough, I remember him being part of a couple of the search parties when they had initially gone missing. He made some social media posts about bringing them home, and yet the whole time they were right there in his apartment. The voice was right. The scariest part was that I couldn't tell if it revealed the truth about these events or influenced them. Either way, I spent the next hour or so in a coma-like state. I emailed my professors about the day's events. Luckily, they understood why I needed to take more time away from class. After dealing with the questions from the police and the trauma of knowing what went down, school just couldn't be the forefront of my mind. To this day, it bothers me. I knew he was strange. I knew he was obnoxious, and I had a bit of creepy vibe, but consuming children in the apartment right next to me, no less? How does one process that? There were other parts to the story that I don't entirely feel comfortable sharing, but trust me, it was beyond evil what he did. I'm glad he got the death penalty for his crimes, but it doesn't erase what happened. It doesn't erase the fact that I slept peacefully while those tragedies took place next door. And it doesn't erase the fact that I knew maybe I could have done something or saved someone. Perhaps I could have prevented it from happening to the first kid. Maybe I don't know. The most life-changing revelation came a month later. The voice had grown silent once more, and frankly, I didn't want it ever to speak again. The other reason I didn't get rid of the darn thing was that I was scared. I feared that if someone else found it, they would be drawn to it in the same way I was, and maybe, just maybe, it would start to whisper terrible things about me. Oddly enough, during that time I used the thing Every night I made a point to sleep on that pillow. Whether I slept on the couch or had my girlfriend over, my priority was to make sure I could always hear the voice. I felt that if something else was going to happen, I needed to be the first to know. Unfortunately, as I anticipated the day, it came. The day the voice spoke to me again. I got the worst news of all. It's interesting. You always assume that the things in your life would elicit the deepest and darkest reactions are the things of nightmares. A hungry bear catches you in the sights. A masked man with a chainsaw breaking into your log cabin. A clown with a knife scratching at your front door. Maybe a demonic entity stalks you while you're alone. But those thoughts aren't based on reality. They're based on the stories we hear or see on TV. And in all likelihood, the average person won't have to deal with an angry grizzly or a killer clown. No, the odds of those events happening to one of us are slim to none. At the same time, the things we could truly feel are much more likely. My dad called to tell me he had cancer. He had been a long-time smoker and never one to really check on his health. It was too late when he noticed a real problem and went to the doctor for a checkup. This broke me. Not just because of the shock of the moment, and not because I didn't think someone like him could run into problems of some point. I broke down because I knew the day before. I prayed to whatever entity there was that the voice lied. I prayed that this was just an attempt to scare me, or that it had the wrong person, but deep down, I knew. Just like the previous 2 times, part of me wished the news came as a surprise. I'd still be devastated, but to have that thing tell me, it made it so much worse. I was always close to my dad. Ever since my mom died when I was little, we had a special bond. Being his only kid, he gave me every ounce of love he had to offer and then some. We spent so much time together. Even after I left for college, I still talked to him all the time. And still, after just 4 short months, he was gone. He was gone. I'm not gonna lie. I was suicidal. I drank a lot, and I had sex with whoever I felt like. I did everything under the sun to try to forget. After what I dealt with, I dropped out of school. I just couldn't function. My dad was my rock. The man I could talk to, laugh with, and rely on for support in so many ways. And just like that, he was gone. Part of me questioned it was my fault. Did I cause this by keeping the voice around? What if I just gotten rid of it like any normal person? To this day, I still don't know that answer. But what I do know is that even at that point, I still couldn't get rid of it. If before I was only slightly concerned about the voice and what it would do if it was not in my possession, then I know I was terrified. Following the death of my father, the voice grew bold. It spoke to me every night. It whispered horrible things about my dad, other people I knew, and complete strangers. It instructed me how to look into awful things about so many people, and it all turned out to be true. It consumed my life. Well, I'm being honest, the only reason I didn't end it all was because a small part of me hoped I'd be free from it one day. That I could move past the voice and finally have my life back. At least until it started talking to me. At first, it told me things as small as when I could get a bruise from stubbing my toe, cut myself an open nail, or get sick. But things quickly got darker. From finding out my girlfriend of 3 years had been cheating on me, finding my new puppy dead, I could see this was leading to a terrifying end. Just as I predicted, the night I had been dreading came all too soon. As I lay down to sleep, I was woken by the voice repeating my name. Without even acknowledging it, the voice laid out my death. A man was to break into my home, bash my head open with a rusted bat, drag my bloody, dazed body into my room, and then fillet my chest and lungs open while pinning me against the wall with nails, like I was a freaking art display. There was no time frame given. All it would say was that it was happening soon. I stayed up all night staring blankly at my wall, waiting for my death. While the voice spoke at a volume louder than I could talk myself, only about an hour from sunrise, a knock came to my door. I knew this was it. I stayed in my room while the knock turned into pounding. The voice accompanied the pounding with hysterical laughter. Tears started streaming down my face, and I slightly cried with the knowledge of what was to come, and I heard an enormous force trying to barrel into the door. I contemplated calling the police, but I knew that they wouldn't get here in time. This was how I was destined to go. Eventually, the door started to break from its hinges, knowing it was only one or two good smashes from giving away. Something snapped. I realized that if I was meant to die, that wretched voice wouldn't be allowed to live either. I quickly searched my room for a lighter and found one right at the head of the door. The door broke, accompanied by a large man stumbling through. Quickly, I reached for the pillow, and it began screaming as soon as I touched it. The loud noise gave away my position, and I had to make mad dash to lock my door and barricade it by flipping over a nearby bookcase. I could hear him fumbling for the doorknob and then using his weight to attempt to smash his way through. I didn't even have much time. I grabbed my half-empty vodka bottle next to my bed and poured it all over the pillow. Then I lit it flame to the thing. Another scream erupted in deep inside. It was blood-curdling and ear-piercing. It sounded like a man in the worst kind of agony that could ever be experienced. It didn't curse me or beg me for its life. It burned. It only wailed in pain. I fell to the floor with my hands covering my ears, hoping and praying that this would stop. The banging, screaming kept coming in unison, and I squeezed my eyes tight and screamed for everyone to shut up over and over. I just wanted it all to be over with. Slowly, everything started to die down until silence. All that remained were the burnt remains of my pillow. I waited half an hour before checking the rest of my apartment, and to my relief, there was no one there. The sense of freedom that washed over me was unlike anything I had ever experienced. And at that moment, I again broke down. I'm not as much of a crier as I'm making myself out to be, but given what I had just gone through, for more than half a year, everything just kind of came out. The police came by, but all I could really tell them was that someone tried to rob me, and that this was the end of it. Despite the apparent damage and screaming, they could never find anything to lead up to an arrest. At the end of all, the final step of this horrible adventure was rebuilding. I got a new dog. I've started to eat healthier, and I'm taking a hike and other activities outside to help clear my mind. Being around other people also really helps. I still have my moments of darkness, but really forcing myself to get out there and to just talk to people has made a massive difference. And as a result of that, I may even have a potential relationship. But we'll see how that goes. After everything went down, I had also moved apartments. I just felt it would be best to get away from that area so I could heal. I must have had spiritual cleansings done by over 10 different types of religious people, along with my many other more minor spiritual rituals I found online. For a while, things worked great. Life returned to the best approximation of normal. But last night, I think I heard a voice coming from my walls. It spoke of such awful things. And that's the end of the story. What do you guys think? I'm giving this a 10. That was amazing. I was like wanting to read through this in such a fast pace to get to the end. I can't contain myself. I'm giving that a 10. I'm giving it a 10. It bothered me. And it scared me. Oh gosh. For me, cat, the cancer hit close to home too. Also, the dad dying, it hit close to home for me. It was actually really hard to read through that. Um, it bothered me a little bit. I will freely admit the story. Um, it it hit hard. um, I did not read that before. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like reading stories before I actually read them. Because I think for me, the first time I actually read a story for the very first time, there's more emotion. So, that's why I don't ever proofread a story, which is good and bad. It's good because you get realistic reading. Bad because it could have bad like grammar, punctuation, or a plot that hits. And that one hit me. Nate, you're here, and I'm going to end my live stream here in a minute. Dang it! I'm gonna have to message you like a day before that I'm live streaming. But I will say that the dad dying hit me really hard, and the cancer. My grandmother died the same year my dad died of cancer, and I got to be there for a good bit of it, and so those hit hard. And the mental stability of the character also hits hard. I mean, whew. Oh my gosh, guys. I usually don't live stream this long. But, I don't know. I like live streaming, especially when we have, when we have such, awesome stories to read. I'm saving this one. I may do an actual video for it. I'm so glad you made it, Nate. I'm just gonna start messaging you earlier in the day that I live stream. Just a heads up, I usually live stream on Mondays and Fridays about this time. So hopefully Friday you can make it and you talk about spiders and parachuting from my butt and everything. Get everybody laughing. Guys, I'm glad that you really liked the story. It makes me happy. Happy skippy. But I'm gonna be closing this out here in a minute. Guys, my eyes are burning. And those stories, the first one and the last one actually took a lot out of me emotionally to read. So I'm tired. I'm dead tired now. So, I love you guys so big. I give you big hugs. Yes, I do. I love you so much. Oh, thank you, Minty. I didn't write it, but for the acting part, thank you. But I love you guys so big. I'm gonna miss you guys until Friday. I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks we're gonna work something out to where I'm gonna start releasing some actual videos. Like on Wednesday, I'd like to release a video maybe on Sunday and Wednesday. So, heads up, in the next week, I'm hoping to get those out because I have a couple of Christmas stories that I have pre-recorded, and they're new, and I can't wait to share them with you. But I will say this, and I have to say this. I hope you guys stay warm, stay hydrated, stay safe, and as always, I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.